So right now, notice that every time I refresh, there's nothing in the database. There's nothing that is coming back from the server. So we need to be able to have something on the server for it to come back, right? So we need to save this new type widget type that's showing in there. So we can do that by going back to the data model, right? And in the widget data model, perhaps we can add another field here, maybe private string widget type. Okay, and that widget type will need a setter and getter for that too. So we'll say source setter and getter. We'll say OK. There's our setter and getter. So now we have a place to as a placeholder for that, right? Place to put it. So when we save it, it's saved. Right? All right. So let's go back to the client and let's try to save that. Oh, probably I need to restart the server. Let's restart the server. If we go back to the client, what's it saying? Save. Yep. Save. If we go back to the client, we can now perhaps try to save that information. If we select that, notice that it created the schema for us. It created the schema for us here that now has a widget type, which wasn't there before, right? JPA created that for us. So let's try and save something. Let's refresh and let's add a couple. Let's one of each. So this will be, let's change this to heading. This is paragraph. Okay, this is list, and this is image. All right, and let's save. See if this works. Network. Save. And if we go back to the database, we can refresh, and we have all the widgets. Notice that we have the types, right? Heading 1, paragraph, list, image. I'm not sure where that widget 1 came from. We did? Oh, we inserted this one before. Okay, thank you. Right, so we don't need this, right? So let's delete this row. Apply. Close. So that we go back to the client and we refresh. Okay, notice that it's rendering correctly, right? Heading, paragraph, list, but this is not rendering correctly, right? So we need to set the value for this as well. So for the drop down here, for this drop down, we can set the value. We can say value, grab it from the widget type. Okay, that's the value. So notice now that the drop-downs are correct. See that? Heading, paragraph, delete. Wait, what? Oh, list and image, right? That it's grabbing it from the database, right? The next thing is that notice that the order is all screwed up. Actually, no. Is this the right order? Yeah, I think so, right? If we add another widget, and if we have several paragraphs at the end, we save, and then refresh. Okay, notice that the orders are all wrong, right? So you should add to the data model. You should add to the data model order, right? An integer here that says private int order, right? And you need to manage that order, right? So that to make it behave as much as possible as just a single as an array, right? And it's a pain because when you reorder, right? Well, actually, no. Because we're reordering one at a time, it's easy, right? You just have to decrement this one and increment the one before you, right? So that's easy. But if you're doing drag and drop, then it's non-trivial because if you like moving from the one below and you move it all the way to the bottom, to the top, right? You need to change the order of say from 10 to 0, and all the ones in between need to be updated, right? So from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. So it's a pain, right? You'll have to manage that yourselves if you're doing drag and drop. Anyway, order, you need to do order. And then in the reducer, when you're generating these states, right, you just have to make sure that your array is always sorted by order, right? Or you can do it in a database, right? You can do that in a query. You can say, okay, retrieve my list, but always retrieve it in the order based on the order field. Okay? All right, so yeah, you're going to have to manage that order yourself. Excellent.